All right, welcome to Ohio Stadium, historic Ohio Stadium, otherwise known as the Shoe, 2025 Navy Federal Credit Union NHL Stadium Series on Saturday, March 1st at 6 o'clock. I'm sure you all have those details. We are really proud to host such a prestigious event and partner with the NHL, our very own Columbus Blue Jackets, the McConnell family, the Columbus Sports Commission, and really make these type of events come to reality. This is the first ever outdoor hockey game played at our historic stadium, like I said, otherwise known as the Shoe. We say defend the Shoe, so I think the Blue Jackets are ready to defend the Shoe. At our national championship celebration a week ago, I mentioned that it was our 10th football gathering of the year. 9 football games and a celebration, 10 football events. If you actually go back to last summer, this will be the 13th major event in Ohio Stadium. Buckeye Country Superfest, right? The Premier League game with Chelsea and Man City, 10 football events, and now we have the NHL Stadium Series. And so we really pride ourselves on the ability to host these events. Our staff, I believe, does a great job. I think we're the best in the industry of college athletics to make sure that we pull these events off. We have standards here at Ohio State around excellence and making sure that we maintain just high standards. We view ourselves in many ways as the gateway to Columbus, right? Ohio State, the gateway to Columbus. And so attracting these type of events, being able to put them on, being able to have the wherewithal to pull them off and make sure that people walk away going, wow, that was big time, and then they come back. We really pride ourselves on making sure that we have the wherewithal to do that. So we're really proud to partner with everyone who's involved in this event, everyone within the city, within the NHL environment, the Columbus Blue Jackets, like I said, the McConnell family, they're great supporters of Ohio State as well. So it's my pleasure to welcome you all here today and kick off the man of the hour. I think he has way more important things to say. Please welcome the President of Content and Events for the NHL, Steve Mayer.
Good afternoon, everybody, and it is a pleasure to be here in this incredible stadium for what we are looking forward to as our 43rd outdoor game. We started talking to Ohio State and to the Columbus Blue Jackets almost 5 years ago, and the fact that we're a month away, it's pretty incredible. Ross mentioned the fact that here at Ohio State, they want to put on these incredible events, and it has been amazing to work with the staff here from Ohio State. We do these a lot, and we do these in these iconic stadiums, and this is first class all the way, and it's made our job so much easier. We get to town in full, and by the way, we're here in town. We're doing what we call a tie-down meeting, and what we do today is we bring everybody who's involved in the game, all aspects, every different department, and we download each and every one of these groups on where we're at the moment, where we're at today, February 4th, is it 4th or 5th? And then what we need to do in the next month as we get ready for the game. And there's still plenty of work to do. We believe that up until the time we drop the puck on March the 1st, we're here to change ideas. We're very flexible. But we do think we have an amazing plan, and we do think this is going to be one of, if not the greatest outdoor game that we've ever done. Columbus Blue Jackets have been unbelievable to work with as well. They are playing in their first ever outdoor game. They're the 30th team in the NHL that's played in an outdoor game, and they're really cooperating with us because they're putting on a great season, and this is a really important game. I think it's really something that everybody should note is that these games are meaningful. Even though they go from inside an arena to outside and they're played on a different surface in a different environment, they still are important, and they're worth points that could result in a team making the playoffs or being out of a playoff spot. And this game between Columbus and Detroit happens to be a very important game in the NHL season. We've got a lot that we're planning. This is not just a one-day activity. It's an event, and our team is here to put on a fanfare, which will be outside of the venue. There is an event that goes on that's associated with the football team that goes on in St. John Arena before the game. We're here, we're going to replicate that in many ways. We're calling it the NHL Stadium Series Pep Rally, and it will feature a concert from OAR. It'll be before the game, and not only will it feature the concert, it will feature the Ohio State Athletic Band and an appearance from the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Blue Jackets will stop in St. John Arena and then make their way from St. John Arena to the stadium. The arrival of teams have become really special. Each team is given the creative opportunity to do something very unique and different. And we're sure, even though we don't know, we are sure that the Columbus Blue Jackets will come up with an amazing idea. And that's a very popular fan event. The Detroit Red Wings will also do a unique arrival as well. So once they're inside the stadium and some of the field design you're going to see, we're going to release within the next week or so what the field is going to look like. It's very unique. It's very Ohio State and Columbus Blue Jackets. You'll get it the second you see it. And then as we go through the game, we like to be very interactive in our games. Of course, from the first, second, and third period, there's a hockey game, but everything else is unique. It's festive. We've got a concert with 21 Pilots that'll be during the first intermission, and it is a full-blown concert. And putting that one together, it's probably the biggest of any show that we've ever done related to any of our outdoor games. A puck drop, which will be ceremoniously, and by the way, some things we're not going to reveal. Some things are going to be a surprise, and other things are very, traditional if you look at any of our outdoor games. And we also are going to be very traditional when it comes to Ohio State football. Like, we obviously watched the teams run. It was awesome, and we've spent a lot of time coming to games, learning what the traditions are. Block O will be part of our environment. The Ohio State marching band or athletic band will be part of this environment, and other Ohio State football traditions. We will celebrate the championship teams, not only the football team, but the cheer and dance team. Will be a part of what we're going to do inside the stadium, and there'll be a moment where we celebrate last year's championship in women's hockey. So there's just so much to talk about. I'll open it up to all of you. That's an overview of what we're doing. I'm sure you do have some questions.
Any questions for Steve, please raise your hand and wait to be called on, and we'll try to get through everybody. Over here on the left, second row.
Hey, Steve, welcome to town.
Hi, Aaron.
You mentioned that the plans will be revealed next week, so I don't want to ruin any of that, but is there something unique about this stadium? You've done football stadiums before. Is there something about this place that's different than other places that require maybe more creativity?
So I think you saw it in the logo that we actually have already presented. The horseshoe and the way the stadium and the environment is set up and what it's known for, the shoe. I think we've really played into that. It's huge. I mean, when you really think of how many people will have the day of the game in this stadium to watch hockey, it just blows my mind every single time. And, just for a point of example, we just did the Winter Classic in Wrigley Field, another iconic venue, but we had 40,000 people there. I mean, when we're done, think about how many people are going to be here to watch a hockey game. It blows my mind. And so any facility that can hold this many people, the way they activate, everything around the stadium, we're going to take advantage of that. I think we did play into St. John Arena. We were very impressed by how that gets activated before a football game, and just the vibe. And again, next week you're going to see some very obvious ties to Ohio State when we reveal the field design. And then there's going to be things that we're going to do within the game that take advantage of the Columbus Blue Jacket traditions. I have to bring that up. There are things that go on in that arena that we're just going to bring over to this stadium. So I think you probably know one's really loud and makes a lot of noise. And just the fact that we, really want to celebrate Columbus Blue Jacket hockey. I mean, this is our first chance. They haven't had an outdoor game. And typically what we want to do is let the people who are watching this game in Utah, in Alaska, or around the world know that we're in Columbus, Ohio. Yeah, they got to know that right off the bat. So one of the ways to do it is through this great school, and the other way to do it is through the traditions of the Columbus Blue Jackets, and we want to celebrate the history of the Blue Jackets. They've been around for 25 years. This is our chance to really kind of play into that, and we're going to do that.
You can wait for the mic now. Back row cameras. Guardians vest.
Hi, Steve. Two quick things for you. First of all, ticket sales, an update how that's going so far. And secondly, ice installation, the time frame. If you can give us how that will start, how it will proceed.
Absolutely. So ticket sales are going well. I'm not going to sit here, and this is very typical of any of the outdoor games we've ever done. We still have tickets remaining. But for us, as I said, we're finding more and more that there is a level of fan base that waits to look at what's the weather going to look like, and okay, what am I doing on March 1st? So we are exactly where we want to be, and we know this building is going to be filled the day of the game. So that's where we are. And the other thing to recognize, and we should point this out, because of the configuration that is hockey, not football, we end up taking some seats out of the mix. We build stages in very unique places. So you've got your hockey rink. The 21 Pilot stage is ginormous, and so that's a factor. And we change television positions. So we could never televise a hockey game with the football television positions. So we have to build new positions, and that actually takes out a host of seats as well. The second part of it is when we come in here. So our truck rolls into town on the 16th, and it's going to roll into town. It'll probably do a little tour. If you're downtown, you might see what is obviously an ice truck. And then the 17th is when we really park and start to do the work. Close to 300 folks on our team come in, and you'll see them around Columbus, and they work hard. Day and night, we're open 24 hours to try to get this done in time. We build ice. We also factor in when we're outside in an environment like this, weather and things that could happen in the course of making the ice. But it's a 2-week process, and we use every minute of the 2 weeks. There's rehearsals. It's fascinating for those, and obviously this is our first game in this market. It's really unique. I think everybody in this room is going to get a glimpse of how we build and the process, and it's very different than almost anything you've ever seen. And it is a gradual process that does take 2 weeks.
Down here, second row.
Hi, thanks so much.
Hi.
A couple things. First, the City of Columbus, that hasn't been mentioned in terms of the engagement with the city or trying to market this event through the city. Can you tell us what's being done in that regard?
And shame on me, because they've been incredible. The city, the Travel Bureau and the Sports Commission have all been involved and have all pitched in. I mean, this is really a community effort. And again, I think we have to go back because this is a game that everybody in the city wanted and has really worked hard. I mean, worked very hard to bring the NHL to this moment. We had some issues, admittedly, and I think they've been well documented with the stadium. We are playing a game in the middle, potentially, of winter. And if things don't work in the winter, it's really hard. I guess first and foremost, we're giving our fans the best experience possible. And we know that somebody who attends an outdoor game, it's a memory of a lifetime. And we want to make that memory as special as possible, as positive as possible. And frankly, we didn't have the confidence at the beginning that the stadium would work if we were in temperatures like today. Now we have complete confidence. But it was the city, and it was all the folks that were involved in the city that actually were part of the original outreach, and they've been involved all the way through. And so that was bad on me, because they've done an incredible job, and we're honored to represent this city around the world. That's one of the things that we are so proud of after we leave a city, when we get the positive feedback, that we know that we've done a city proud.
And I know that it is a question for fans. They don't really understand what will happen if it's 60 degrees or if it's raining. Or can you just help us understand a little bit so that they understand what the weather will do and the impact and the kind of weather that you've already kind of seen in your previous outdoor games?
So we've done 43 games, and we've seen kind of it all. Now, if it's extreme, we certainly communicate well in advance and let our fans first know if there's any delays or anything as such. But, we have seen it all. We had a mini hurricane a day before a game in Annapolis. We had 70 degrees in Los Angeles. We had close to 70 degrees or even more than 70 degrees in Colorado. We've had snow, we've had rain, we've seen it all. And in a, knock on wood, we've played 43 games, and we've had a couple of delays, but that's it. But again, we'll monitor the weather. I'm sure the weekend, 10 days before, every single one of you is going to be monitoring the weather with us, and we'll give you constant updates as to where we stand. But, typically, this is a market and a city that we don't worry about. And my team who's in the back is probably so upset that I just said that, because, as we've monitored the weather, and we do so many studies before we ever decide we're going to do a game in a particular market, this is pretty good as far as weather goes in terms of building ice and playing a game. And I think fans actually want it to be cold. Like, it's part of the experience. You want to bundle up, and you want to feel like you're in the environment, because that makes it special. But we'll see, and we'll keep everybody posted.
Other side in the second row.
You talked about this a little bit earlier, but I'd like to go back to it. Right now, I believe as we start today, the Blue Jackets and the Red Wings are tied in points. I believe they're 1 point out of a playoff position, both of them. At the beginning of the season, the Blue Jackets obviously had a tragedy to start the thing, and a lot of people just kind of thought maybe this wouldn't be their year. Just how much have you guys kind of paid attention to the story that has been developing on their side of things right here to get to where they are at this point?
So, yeah, of course. I mean, it's an NHL story. Whether we're doing an outdoor game here or not, it's tragic. It's obviously been a piece of motivation, and obviously the players live with what went on here every single day. We'll honor. It's been some time, but there will be moments within the context of our game where we will honor Johnny, Matthew, and the family. So we're not ignoring it at all. But we also want to be very respectful. When we decide to do these games, it's years in advance, and everybody talks about, oh, a certain team, why did you decide this matchup? We actually look at where we're playing and what we think is a great matchup for that particular game. And we don't really consider how well the teams are playing or where they might be. It's difficult to look in a crystal ball. The fact that these two teams are fighting for a playoff spot is just incredible. It's just going to help, I think, grow our national TV audience and the storyline leading in. And, we all have watched that sort of progress to this point, and we'll monitor it in the next 3 weeks. But, March 1st is getting really close to the end of the season. Our end of the season, I think, is April 17th. So you're in the stretch run. Every point counts. And, I think it's fortunate for us that that's played out that way. But, the story that's happened here is something we should never go through. But at the same time, we are going to lean into like telling that story to more of the masses, because the other thing is sports fans watch this game, not just hockey fans. This is our largest television audience of the year. We know that includes not only hockey fans, but fans of other sports, and not everybody knows the story. And so it's our duty to tell that story and to do it in a respectful way.
Anything else for Steve? This side?
Steve, I know that from games 1 through 43, you've had to overcome certainly a lot of challenges to get ready for those games. Where do you feel like that you've seen the biggest improvement in preparing for these games up till now?
It's a tough one. I think you learn from experience. I think we've tried a lot. I think we have the greatest events team in all of sports. And I really mean that. I'm not just sitting here saying that. They constantly are challenged to think out of the box, to never make the last one look like the next one, or the next one to look like game 26. We constantly are trying to think of, how is this unique and different? Obviously there's a rink that's in the middle of a football field. That doesn't change. But what surrounds it always changes. And then everything around it, how we activate ideas and events, and how we bring traditions into the mix, that always changes. It's actually a great challenge and something that we love doing. It's part of, like, when we tell our team we're going to Ohio State, it's like, wow, you could see the light bulbs going off, and all of a sudden they're just thinking of, all right, what are we going to do? In each individual area, they've got to do something a bit different. As simple as the way the bus comes in, it's going to come in a different way. So it's a challenge, and everybody has a unique position, a unique job to do, and we love doing it. And we really think that each of these games takes on a life of their own, and we're not afraid to do things that some work, some don't. But that's what we do love about this one. And I'm not just, again, saying this. This just has a lot of different elements that we think will be really memorable, and that's what it's all about. You want people to leave and the next day be talking about, did you see? Did you see? Did you see? And if we do that, we've done our job.
All the way in the back?
Steve, I wonder if you could talk a little bit about what the public will have a chance to see as the rink is being built inside the stadium, and what opportunities there'll be for our media friends to come out and cover that.
So everybody in this room is invited constantly, almost on a day-by-day basis, to come front and center and watch the progress that we make. Our fans, there's a link on NHL.com where you can watch in real time the rink being built. Every single day we put out content of the rink build. And there are moments along the way that are, what we think are really cool. And I think our fans do as well, whether we're putting lines and logos in the ice, building the ice. The way we construct the rink, the field, the design of the field, all of that is very public. We used to hide it. And I'm looking back at our group, and we always wondered why. We do want a wow factor, but we still think we get it. When a fan walks in, they're like, whoa, because it is, to see it in person, very different than watching it, on a link. But we don't hide anything, and we're hoping that all of you come along for the ride and watch every minute of it, and we'll try to give you an explanation of how this is getting done, and when it's getting done, and why it's getting done.
Back on my left in the second row again.
I believe the Red Wings and the Blue Jackets both have, I think it's 4 players each that went to the University of Michigan. Around here's that team up north. I'm wondering how much, if any, consultation you guys have done with players, just in general, from each team, about the Buckeye theme and that kind of stuff.
And not much. I mean, listen, we are well aware of that. We are also well aware that when I sit here on this podium, I say the team up north, and I don't say anything other than that. I've learned. And it's why, as much as we're going to lean into Ohio State, for those, especially on the Columbus Blue Jackets, we're not going to make them do anything very specific. And I'm sure that others may, and we welcome that. In fact, if you saw recently, the night that Ohio State played for the national championship, the Columbus Blue Jackets had a game, and many of the players walked into the arena wearing their Ohio State jerseys. So we love that, and that was natural, and that's what they wanted to do. But it is, listen, college hockey is huge. And here is just another example, Ohio State, of an incredible college hockey program, both on the men's and the women's side. We at the NHL are leaning into college hockey more and more and more. And each of the teams, every team in the league, has players from so many schools. It just so happened here that the team up north is represented. But we understand that, and we're not going to put anybody in an embarrassing situation.
Any other questions for Steve?
But thank you.